There's a quiet contradiction happening every single day. You eat carefully, take your medications on time, go to regular checkups, and do your best to stay active. And yet, your blood pressure is still high. Your body feels tired. Your sleep isn't deep. And sometimes, even a small worry makes your heart race more than it should. Why does this happen? The truth is, after age 60, managing blood pressure isn't just about taking pills or eating less salt. Behind the numbers on your monitor lies an entire system of habits, from your breakfast, to your afternoon coffee, to how you respond to stress. And sometimes, even small habits, the ones that seem harmless, can quietly throw your blood pressure off balance. They reduce the effectiveness of your medication and add more pressure to your heart and arteries each day. In this video, we'll go over 7 common mistakes many older adults are making, without even realizing it. No blame, no complicated medical talk, just clear, simple insights into everyday habits and practical, stress-free adjustments that can help you feel lighter, think clearer, and keep your heart more stable day by day. So let's start with the very first mistake, one that seems simple but is far more common than you might think. 1. Not monitoring your blood pressure at home. Did you know there's something especially dangerous about high blood pressure? It doesn't cause pain. It doesn't cause a fever. Most of the time, it doesn't feel like anything at all. Many people only discover a problem when it's already serious. A sudden dizzy spell, a racing heart, or worse, after a stroke or a heart complication. And one of the most common mistakes older adults make is this: only checking blood pressure during a doctor's visit. They think, I feel fine. Nothing seems wrong. I have a checkup next month. The doctor will handle it. But here's the truth. Blood pressure isn't a fixed number. It changes throughout the day, depending on your sleep, your meals, your stress levels, your activity, even the weather. A normal reading at the clinic doesn't tell the whole story. You might have felt calm that day, or it could have just been a lucky moment. And the result? You miss early warning signs. You don't notice that your medication is wearing off. You don't realize that every afternoon your pressure rises, maybe from a salty dinner or that daily coffee you enjoy. But here's the good news. You can change all of that with just a simple home blood pressure monitor. You don't need expensive equipment. Just pick one time each day, like in the morning after waking up, or before dinner in the evening, and measure it consistently. It takes less than 5 minutes, but it gives both you and your doctor a much clearer picture of your health, not just one snapshot in a clinic. And if you're worried about seeing high numbers, remember this: knowing lets you take action. Not knowing is what takes control away. Keep a simple log of your readings and bring it to your appointments, or even just call your doctor if you notice a change. This helps them adjust your medication properly, catch risks early, and prevent complications before they start. Think of blood pressure checks the same way you think of brushing your teeth. Not something you only do when there's a problem, but something you do every day to stay ahead of problems. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you check your blood pressure at home regularly? If so, what time of day works best for you? And if not, what's stopping you from starting? Share your experience in the comments, because your story just might encourage someone else to begin tomorrow. Now, if mistake number 1 is not checking your blood pressure regularly, then mistake number 2 may be sitting right there on your dinner plate, and you might not even realize it. Let's find out what it is. 2. Eating too much salt without realizing it. If you think you don't eat salty foods because you don't use much salt at the table, you're not alone. Many older adults feel confident they're keeping their sodium intake low, until they learn that the biggest source of salt isn't from the salt shaker. It's already hidden inside the everyday foods we think are harmless. A slice of sandwich bread, a bowl of instant oatmeal, a can of soup, or even a few bites of pickled vegetables. Each of these can contain more than half of your daily sodium limit, even if you never add extra salt yourself. According to the CDC, over 70% of sodium in the American diet comes from processed foods. Not from what we add while cooking, but from what we buy already made. You might not feel anything immediately, but inside your body, that extra sodium makes you retain more water. Your heart has to pump harder, and the pressure builds against your blood vessel walls. Over time, that leads to rising blood pressure, swelling around your ankles, and a heart that has to work overtime. every single day. What makes it worse is that most people don't notice until their blood pressure is already dangerously high, or until symptoms like headaches, fatigue, or restless sleep begin to show up. So how do you improve this without feeling overwhelmed? You don't have to change your entire diet overnight. Start with one simple shift. Pay attention to what's actually in your food. Make it a habit to read food labels, not just for calories or fat, but for sodium. Look for products labeled low sodium, which means less than 140 milligrams per serving. If you're using canned or packaged foods, rinse them under water before cooking to wash away excess salt. And when you cook at home, try flavoring your food with garlic, onion, pepper, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, or herbs like basil and parsley instead of salt. These ingredients not only enhance taste, they're also heart-healthy and gentle on your blood pressure. At first, things may taste a little bland, but within a few weeks your taste buds will adjust. You'll begin to enjoy the natural flavor of your food, and soon, overly salty meals will actually taste too intense to enjoy. Just by cutting your daily sodium in half, you may help your heart work more easily, reduce swelling in your legs, and bring your blood pressure down, without needing to increase your medication. But salt isn't the only hidden habit that affects blood pressure. There's another common mistake that's just as quiet, but just as powerful. Let's take a look in the next section. Third, not getting enough gentle daily movement. Have you ever noticed? Some days you barely leave your chair. You sit down for breakfast, then watch the news at lunch, read a book in the afternoon, and relax in front of the TV at night. And by the end of the day, your body feels tired, even though you hardly did anything. That's not laziness. It's the quiet toll of a sedentary lifestyle, one of the most overlooked causes of rising blood pressure. Movement is one of the most natural ways to keep your heart strong. When you move, your heart pumps blood more efficiently, your blood vessels stay flexible, and your blood pressure is more likely to stay within a healthy range. But when you sit too long, circulation slows down, blood vessels begin to tighten, and the pressure inside your arteries rises, silently, without warning. According to the American Heart Association, sitting in one spot for over 60 minutes without light movement can negatively affect both blood pressure and blood sugar, especially for those over 60. So what's the simplest solution? You don't need to go to the gym. You don't need to run laps. You just need to break up long periods of sitting with a little gentle movement. Every 30 to 60 minutes, stand up and take a few steps around the house. When the TV goes to commercial, take the opportunity to stretch your shoulders, raise your arms, or gently roll your neck. If you're reading or doing something that requires stillness, set a gentle reminder. So every time it goes off, you stand up and do a few light stretches or twists. Start with just 5 minutes of light movement every hour and build from there. Whether it's walking around the yard, watering plants, or simply standing up and reaching toward the ceiling, every small movement is a natural medicine for your heart. And the best part? You don't have to wait until you feel better or have more time. Just start with one step. Then do it again tomorrow. Because cardiovascular health doesn't come from big changes. It comes from small actions, done regularly and with care. Now what about you? How many hours a day do you sit without standing up? Try counting, and share your answer in the comments below. You might be surprised. And you might even inspire someone else to get up and take that first step too. And while movement keeps your body flexible, there's another habit that helps keep your heart stable. Taking your blood pressure medication exactly as prescribed. Unfortunately, many people make a common mistake. They stop taking it just because they feel fine. Let's talk about that next. 4. Taking blood pressure medication inconsistently. There's something that happens more often than you might think. That quiet little thought. I feel fine today. Maybe I don't need to take my pill. Many older adults have said the same thing. I checked my blood pressure a few times and it looked normal, so I skipped my dose yesterday. I felt okay. But that small interruption might be the very reason your blood pressure starts creeping up again, silently, without warning. Why is this such a dangerous mistake? Blood pressure medication isn't like cold medicine. You don't just take it when you feel sick. It's a maintenance therapy, which means you need to take it consistently, even on days when you feel perfectly fine. Because feeling fine might mean the medication is working. If you stop taking it, your blood pressure can spike unexpectedly, increasing your risk of stroke, heart failure, or kidney damage, all without any early symptoms. Sadly, many people have ended up in the hospital because they thought they were doing fine and stopped their meds for a few days. But by the time the spike happens, the body doesn't have time to adjust, and serious complications can follow. So how do you stay consistent and avoid forgetting your medication? Tie your pill routine to something you already do every day, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. Use a pill organizer with labeled days, or set a reminder on your phone so you don't have to remember. You just follow the cue. And if you experience side effects or feel uncomfortable after taking your medication, don't stop on your own. Talk to your doctor. There are always gentler alternatives or adjusted doses that can work better for your body. Remember, each pill you take is a quiet promise to your heart. That promise doesn't have to be loud or heroic. It just needs to be steady. Day by day, that consistency helps stabilize your blood pressure, strengthen your heart, and bring more ease into your everyday life. Now let's move on to another subtle habit. One that can affect your blood pressure even more than a salty meal, and yet it often flies completely under the radar. Are you ready? Let's continue. 5. Letting stress build up in silence. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, unable to sleep, even though nothing seems to be wrong? Or have you ever woken up in the morning already feeling tired? Stress doesn't always come in loud, dramatic waves. Especially for those over 60, it often arrives quietly, as weariness after nights of poor sleep, a sense of isolation, or unspoken worries about your health, your family, or what lies ahead. And here's what many people don't realize. Chronic stress is one of the most silent and dangerous triggers for high blood pressure. Every time you're stressed, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which tighten your blood vessels, increase your heart rate, and raise your blood pressure, even if you're just sitting still. In fact, just a few minutes of stress can spike your blood pressure more than a salty meal. The problem is, when stress happens daily, little by little, your body starts to treat it as the new normal. Your heart works harder, your blood vessels stay slightly constricted, and your blood pressure begins to creep up quietly over time. So, how can you stop stress from silently taking control of your health? You don't need hours of deep meditation or complicated yoga routines. All it takes is creating a small window of time each day to let your mind breathe. You can start with something simple. In the morning, spend just 5 minutes breathing deeply. Sit up straight, breathe in slowly through your nose, then gently exhale. During quiet moments, write down 3 things you're grateful for, like a ray of sunshine, a delicious breakfast, or a kind message from a loved one. In the afternoon, listen to soft music, water your plants, or just sit quietly with no distractions, allowing your mind to relax. These small habits, done consistently, are like pressure valves for your body, gently, naturally, and often more powerfully than any pill. And if you feel like stress is building up too often, don't hold it in. Talk to someone, a friend, a family member, or even your doctor. Stress isn't a weakness. It's a signal, a message from your body that it needs more care, not less. What about you? How are you feeling these days? Is there something on your mind that you haven't shared with anyone? Try writing it down, or leave a comment below. Sometimes just putting it into words can lift half the weight off your shoulders. And now, let's move on to the 6th mistake. A small daily habit that could be making your blood pressure swing even more than a salty dinner. 6. Overusing coffee or alcohol. A morning cup of coffee, a glass of wine in the evening. It sounds perfectly normal, and many people even believe it's a healthy routine. But for those over 60, these small sips can cause big shifts in blood pressure, especially when consumed too often or at the wrong time. Coffee contains caffeine, a stimulant that tightens blood vessels, increases heart rate, and temporarily raises blood pressure. For younger people, the body can usually adjust. But for older adults, whose cardiovascular systems may be less flexible, this response can last longer and place added pressure on the arteries every single day. And alcohol? Even just 1 to 2 glasses in the evening can disrupt sleep, cause nighttime blood pressure fluctuations, promote fluid retention, and reduce the effectiveness of blood pressure medications. If alcohol is combined with medication, it can also lead to dizziness, fatigue, or more serious issues like liver strain. So, what's the simple, effective way to manage this? If you love coffee, you don't have to give it up completely. Start with small changes. Try switching to decaf, or cut back to less than 1 small cup per day. Drink coffee after breakfast, not on an empty stomach, when caffeine is absorbed faster and more likely to spike your blood pressure. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. since it can disrupt your sleep, even if you don't feel it immediately. And most importantly, listen to your body. If you notice a racing heart, jittery feelings, or unusually high blood pressure after drinking coffee, it's your body telling you it's time to adjust. As for alcohol, if it's part of your evening wind-down routine, you may not need to give it up entirely, but drink mindfully. Limit intake to 1 small drink per day for women and no more than 2 for men. It's best to drink with meals, not alone or too close to bedtime. The truth is, sometimes just 1 cup of coffee or a single glass of wine can make a noticeable difference in your blood pressure, especially as your body becomes more sensitive with age. But here's what's even more concerning. Many people feel these changes, but never speak up. They don't tell their doctor. They don't share it with the nurse. They don't mention it during their checkups. And it's that silence, not the coffee or the wine, that puts their blood pressure at risk in the most dangerous way. Which brings us to the final mistake of today's video. 7. Not communicating clearly with your doctor. There's a common routine among many people over 60. You go to your checkup, get your blood pressure taken, pick up your prescriptions, and then head home. No questions, no extra conversation, because you assume if something were wrong, the doctor would say so. But here's the truth. High blood pressure doesn't show itself on the outside. It changes daily, even hourly, depending on how you eat, how you sleep, how stressed you are. Even small things like a new herbal tea or a supplement you've started can shift your numbers. And if you don't tell your doctor about these details, they're only seeing a tiny sliver of the full picture. And that sliver might miss the early warning signs of something more serious quietly forming in the background. Many seniors hold back because they feel embarrassed, afraid of being a burden, or think, it won't make a difference anyway. But in reality, a short, focused conversation can help your doctor adjust your medication, switch you to a better option, or catch a problem before it becomes dangerous. So, what should you share? Any strange or persistent symptoms, like dizziness, swelling in your ankles, headaches, or trouble sleeping? Any supplements, herbs, or over-the-counter remedies you've started? How your body feels after taking your meds? Are you feeling better? Tired? Forgetting doses? Noticing anything unusual? And if you're checking your blood pressure at home, bring that log with you. It can be a simple notebook or even photos on your phone. But that little record is like a roadmap, helping your doctor see how your body is really responding day by day. You see, high blood pressure doesn't sound the alarm like a heart attack. It doesn't jolt you awake like a fever. It's quiet, persistent, and often the result of small habits we overlook. But here's the good news. You have the power to take control, gently, consistently, starting today. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just pick one thing each week to do better. Maybe it's checking your blood pressure every morning. Maybe it's taking your meds on time, no missed doses. Maybe it's cutting back on processed food, or just going for a 10-minute walk after dinner. Every decision you make, no matter how small, is a building block toward a steadier heart, a stronger body, and a more peaceful life. If you found this video helpful, please click like, subscribe, and share it with a loved one, especially someone who may be silently struggling with high blood pressure without knowing why. And what about you? Out of the 7 mistakes we've explored, have you experienced any of them? Where do you want to start making a change? Leave a comment below. Your story might be the spark that helps someone else find their way. See you in the next video, where we'll continue to listen to our bodies, adjust our pace, and care for our hearts with wisdom and compassion, one day at a time.